Natalie.
And I'm Carmen.
And welcome to What the Hell? So today we're going to be talking about the film Snowpiercer, and it's incredible. Because this series is mainly focused on world building, because that's all we care about, the world building of Snowpiercer is pretty much flawless. It's multi-cultures on a train that can never stop, because if it stops, everyone dies from freezing to death, because the world shot freezing chemicals into the atmosphere in order to bring down the average temperature of the globe. And in that regard,
It didn't work.
It didn't work on the train. It's horrible, but it's very well done horrible.
I'm coming down with my pair.
Okay.
I'm gonna put it away.
Okay.
I don't care.
I'm gonna
Is
be
trash okay?
No, that's cords.
Well, is your bathroom trash okay?
Yeah. Okay. What were we talking about?
We were talking about
World building.
like all of the world building in that movie. Like it sets up, it ties into the plot.
Yeah.
So like any flaws that you would have with it wouldn't matter.
Makes sense with the plot.
Yeah. Or with the theme. I feel like the theme would be.
Yeah,
more
the theme
important.
is.
Everything connects to the theme. It's a big, crazy. It's a
Yes.
movie about ideas. So,
And, like,
yeah.
While we were watching it, we decided to put our squad
Yeah.
in it, because that's the most important thing, is if your squad can fit into any movie.
Yeah.
It
Well,
wouldn't,
we-
within the theme of the film,
Yeah.
work.
So, like, you have your main character guy, which is Curtis.
Mm-hmm.
And he's
Chris Evans.
Just dirty Chris Evans.
It's
being,
amazing.
like, a loner.
Yeah.
And basically everyone in that movie only has one person that they're connected to entirely. So when they inevitably lose that person, and every single person dies. Spoilers. Like, Curtis and everyone else has nothing left.
So it's like, because you only have one person, once you lose that person, you have no purpose.
Yeah, but, like, if someone else dies, like, who cares?
Which was highlighted very well at the start of the film with Edgar giving no shits about most of the people on the train when they are trying to decide whether or not bullets are extinct. Edgar, who is Jamie Bell, just says, it's fine if we lose a few people.
Yeah.
Versus, that's not
Yeah.
really a versus.
Versus, like, hypothetically, if
Yeah.
it had been 6 people and we're like, we need to make sure the minimum amount of people die possible, like, people would have been much more suspicious of things, and then a lot of less people would die. So, like, the most trusting characters are the ones that meet their greatest downfall, and, like, the more you look out for other things, the less you're gonna trust anything.
Mm-hmm. For example...
Which is why Tanya trusts no one.
And she's the best.
Although she does die, which, that was my main plot point. Like, my one actual nitpick that I, like, genuinely didn't like is that Tanya dies without actually killing anyone. Like, she just goes for it and then, like, boom, she's shot.
Which was ridiculous, because Frankenstein should have been shot. Except, he also only had one person that he was looking out for. That person that he was looking out for died, and so he had no fucks to give and was going straight after Yuna, who was the one who had killed his partner.
The guy is just really unhinged, and then Curtis at the very end is
Also
really unhinged. And if he had known that, like, less people had died, like, he wouldn't. Like, it wouldn't matter. So don't be alone is one message. Don't trust people. Like, Curtis's idealism is really a big downfall for him. So is for the artist guy.
It's really interesting to see the idealism in these characters who don't have anything going for them.
Yeah. Like, I'm not saying hope is a bad thing. The movie kind of says that.
Yeah. But it also, like, because Yuna definitely, like, symbolizes hope, while at the same time, like, Curtis has hope, but it kind of blinds him.
The theme, I think, is that you can't escape a system that you've set up for yourself. Like, life is pointless if you make it pointless.
But it can be great so long as you have people who care about you and you care about. So.
It can't be great. It can be worth fighting for, I guess.
Their lives are still pretty horrible.
They're the worst. The big theme is failed rebellion. I feel like we just care a lot about group dichotomy.
Like, stick that into everything. It's
just like, we just love group dynamics.
Yeah, what would our group do in this scenario?
And the answer is that we'd live, because we wouldn't have trusted a guy with a bunch of eggs in a cart. Don't trust that guy.
So that's another part of the idealism. Like, because when the egg person comes, they think, oh, we made a difference. They care about us.
Aw. Is that
but
why?
they don't.
I just thought the guy was, like, a nice guy. That's a better reason. But then, on the other hand, like, if you had it where it was, like, protect your us versus them, is a good idea in that scenario, but on the other hand, like, you have all of those people who are trained to be warriors to just frickin' kill anyone. So, like, Maybe the answer is that there's just no good solution.
No.
There's bound to be dark morality.
Speaking of dark morality, let's talk about Gray and Gilliam.
Oh, God.
Because we care a lot about Luke Pasqualino's character, Gray, who's just the smallest little son.
He just looks
He's
confused
the smallest
the
little
whole movie.
He's a cinnamon roll.
He is. Who kills people.
He's been raised into this culture that puts little value on individual human lives versus the bigger group. Because of that, nobody really cares about the group as long as they have the one person.
Yeah.
Gray is just a machine.
But Gray probably does care about the group. Gilliam does care about the group.
Gilliam,
and he's super amoral. He is not a moral character.
Also, Gilliam and Gray's relationship is based off of the Greek practice where adult men would have prepubescent men that they would have sex with and teach about, like, philosophy and things. So, it's fucking disgusting.
It's just that the world is so messed up.
That it's
and Gilliam's so messed up that
believable.
He's like, that no one really questions it. And they should. I feel like there were a few people that questioned it on the train, just not Curtis.
And not Curtis. Because Curtis had such, like,
so jacked up.
He just worshipped Gilliam so much.
Gilliam's like the Dumbledore of Snowpiercer.
Yeah. Wait, does that make Gray Harry?
No.
No. Curtis is Harry.
Curtis is Harry.
Who's Gray?
He's just a kid.
He's just
a kid.
He's just a boy. Yeah, train babies are super important because this is the only world that they know, and it's like really obvious with like Edgar and Gray. Like they can't tell the difference between the cause and like just like martyrism. Like even like I think Gray
is an extreme example. That's probably why he was like, we're just going to put in the most fucked up relation possible to show the most extreme way that a kid could be shaped by their circumstances and by their parent figure.
Whereas Edgar, like, his parent figure was Curtis, and so he sort of had a dad. It's really interesting because every child in that movie is a kid, and you can tell that they are.
Yona, like, they emphasize her child, like nature, and it's a thing. It's intentional.
And then, like, Edgar, like, he's a teenage boy. Like, that's very, like, obvious. Like, you are watching it and be like, yeah, this kid's mature for his age. Like, no, he is his age.
The kids in the front were precious, too. And I just, like, God.
Because they were kids.
Yeah.
It's like...
That was kind of the whole point of the scene.
It's like these kids are being brainwashed, and so they aren't, like, good or bad. They're just kids who are growing up in a system that doesn't care about the lower class.
Yeah, and then they turn into guys that kill Edgar with a hatchet. Minister Mason's really cool, because they're another example of how, like, when you've been raised in it, like, you just, like, enforce whatever you've learned.
Yeah.
Because they're ministering the Wilfred thing, and they obviously believe it.
So Mason, the teacher, and Claude, they're all very much, like, Team Wilson. And we don't really, like, know a lot about Claude, other than she's horrible. I wonder how that would have gone if, like, Curtis had become the new leader.
He probably would have killed Claude.
No, because he was, like, being brainwashed into that system while he was alone. Because he's never been alone before. Physically alone and also very emotionally alone because he lost Gilliam and Edgar, and those were the only, like, family that he had known in 17 years. Also Tanya.
And Gray. Like, he saw them all die. And it's such a poignant scene. And he's so hopeless. But then he sees Timmy and he's like, wait a second.
Yeah.
Hope. The future. Snowpiercer ending, you don't necessarily predict the ending. But you're like...
But the plot...
That's kind of the only way it could go out. Which is the whole point. That's the only way that it could work. Which is why that whole group thing and having people be more suspicious just wouldn't have worked. Because the only reason that Curtis got that far was because he had so much faith in that system. And then he's like,
Gilliam.
Yeah.
Because he believes so much in Gilliam, and then as soon as he's told, Gilliam and I have been communicating this whole time, and we set this whole thing up.
Curtis is just crushed.
Curtis and Edgar are always looking to the front of the train, because they just need to get to the front, and they don't really have a plan of what to do after that. It's just, like, been predetermined for them that Curtis is going to be the new leader.
Yeah. Which Gilliam kind of chooses. Literally everything comes back to the system thing. Like, there's nothing to...
It's a preordained system that Yuna and her father destroy in order to save the future.
Just, like, end a meaningless existence. Not even create a meaningful one. It's a pretty nihilistic movie.
Yeah.
But it has so much hope in it that, like, it's so weird. Like, I feel like the end message just can't be life is pointless, destroy capitalism.
No.
There's a lot more to it. Like, the director framed it that way so that people would, like, feel that way. Which means that he, like, wanted at least a little bit of hope at the end. It's just different ways of interpreting a bleak, hopeless future. But Curtis has hope until the very end. And then he's like, screw it. So I guess it's just, like, where you place your hope and where you realize that things can't be hopeful.